language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So, Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Adversaries come in many forms, but you will be victorious when you realize that worship is warfare.
Adversaries are necessary because without them, you never really discover your purpose.
We've accepted what somebody told us we were in our past. So our past is sabotaging our ability to hear instruction.
We are not much unlike a battery. The negative is the thing that's needed to produce the power.
I empowered you to overcome everything you've overcome up to this present moment. I fixed you for what's going to happen after this. You were in the mind of God long before you were ever born.
You are not alone in your battle. God has your back because worship is warfare. Put these 4 messages in your arsenal today on CD or DVD. Equip yourself by visiting our website or by calling 1-800-591-8480.
It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings. You can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live, 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah.
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up to the minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. See the celebrations, the special events, and the many, many people who are helping to transform lives one at a time. Stay connected with David G. Evans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and become a member of our broadcast family today.
Well, good morning, everybody. Hope that you are doing well this morning. It is Saturday morning. We are back for On Pointe Live. We hope that you guys can do us a favor and please share if you can. Share as much as possible. And we're believing God for you today for all your needs being met. First off, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We were off last week, so we hope you had a great Christmas, healthy one, safe one, as well as New Year's. We had a great New Year's service on Thursday. Yesterday felt like Saturday. I was about to say something else. Great New Year's service on Thursday, and we're grateful for you guys tuning in. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Bishop came and gave us a word from the Lord about 2021, the year of reversal, revival, and restoration. Reversal, revival, and restoration. We're believing God this morning for you all, and trusting God for 2021. It is it's going to be a year not without its challenges. It's going to have its challenges, but God's still going to be good, though. We're going to press in by faith, trust God and do our thing. All righty. Pastor Richard White is here with us again. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. How you doing? Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Happy New Year. Good.
Wonderful service Thursday night.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. Just
Yeah.
wonderful. It
Yeah.
was wonderful.
And don't forget to join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock service. Of course, we have our normal schedule tomorrow, 8 a.m. service, our Engage Live time at 9 o'clock right after, or whatever time 8 o'clock service ends. Then, of course, 11 o'clock, and then our communion service at 6.
First communion of the year.
First communion of the year. You don't want to miss it. Got an interesting word from the Lord for all of us for our communion celebration and our communion service. All right. Cool. So let's get into some topics. Again, if you haven't done so, please share. Give us a call at 866-743-8267. Again, 866-743-8267. All righty. We've been off, and
Still a lot going on.
still a lot going on. You know what? Let's start here. So, Congress is still debating. Well, first off, they passed the stimulus package.
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's a stimulus. It's
A drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
A drop in the bucket. They're still. It's funny to me. The people that are making Congress people make over $200,000 a year, I think, right?
Yeah, well, it varies. Well, no, they don't make that much.
They're like
the
100
president,
something.
but
sorry,
but they got it.
president's
But make 150 grand and everything is paid. Well, you making like 400.
Literally, yeah. You don't have to pay for insurance.
No insurance, your food. They bring in your food.
Yeah.
Transportation.
Exactly.
Lodging.
Right. Their housing.
Yeah.
They showed some of the people their houses,
Mm-hmm.
and their whole thing is, some of them said $2,000 was too much to give to the American people, because they're worried about the debt, they're worried about the deficit, but yet, they passed this trillion dollar defense funds.
$741 billion. $741 billion. There's no war right now. And we certainly, first of all, we certainly got to make sure that our military has what they need.
Absolutely.
We're
I
not
agree with
saying that we shouldn't have passed it.
Yep.
What
Totally
we're
agree.
saying is that, okay, if it wasn't 2,000, it could at least been 1,200 like it was last time.
Right. Exactly. And again, the people that don't need it are trying to determine
That's right.
what the people that need it,
Right.
how much they're going to get.
Yeah.
And I got a problem with that. But
It's like you seeing me in need, and you say, I'll pray for you, Richard. You keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Right, which the Bible tells us not to do.
Exactly.
The scriptures tells us don't do that. So
I'm thirsty. You say,
yeah, I got you.
I got you later on.
I'm gonna pray for you.
I'm hungry. You don't give me nothing to eat. You
Right,
sitting there with all
right.
this food.
Right. And scripture tells us that's not what we're supposed to do. But again, it's funny how they only worry about the deficit.
Yeah.
Only worry about the debt when it comes down to something that helps people.
Yeah.
If it was helping corporations,
Well, in the stimulus package, there's some more money for the airlines and folks like that.
yeah, yeah.
Billions.
Okay, now I'm trying to go down a rabbit hole here.
Okay.
Let's take the airline industry. They live in a deficit just naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Great executive pay.
Yeah.
Every year they're in a loss, but they know that the government's going to bail them out every time because folks need to fly.
Yeah. Look, and you got American that already is flying the dude Boeing 7 whatever Max, right? You got Southwest that said, look, we just got the money from the stimulus. We don't have to furlough any employees. So those folks that kind of are needing, those companies like you're saying that are needing the money are getting money when, we got folks. So the jobless claims went down. They went down by about 19,000 for the month of December, but it was still over 700,000 people.
Yep.
People need help.
Absolutely.
The people, it's real.
It's real. Because is the unemployment benefits that go up in there too, or no?
They get extended. They don't
Extended,
go
okay.
up. They get extended.
Okay.
They do get extended.
All right. And again, whenever it comes to helping people, they always seem to have this delay
Yeah.
and this issue when it comes to helping individuals out. And I just have a distinct problem with that.
And like we've talked about before, I really expect that this, your generation and the younger generation beyond is going to say, look, enough is enough.
Yeah.
And it's not instantaneous. It's not instantaneous, but I think folks are going to start seeing other folks. Well, let's see what happens in Georgia, but folks are going to see going to start seeing, look, we got to change this.
Yeah.
And folks are getting tired of it, and I just trust that there's going to be some eventual change, not like next year, but in the next 5 to 6 years, I think we'll see some turnover.
Yeah.
Because it's just not right.
You're going to start seeing more Bernies, more OACs,
Yeah.
and more of those people being elected in.
That's right.
Because of stuff like this. Because you can't sit there and say you care. Americans, while we got our issues and stuff, we look at every other country being taking care of their people. And our government is fighting over a one-time check of $600.
$600.
What? I'm talking about the first time too.
Yeah.
And then we got what, 1,200, I think?
Yeah, first time was 1,200.
1,200, yeah. And then this one was 600.
That's right.
They're fighting over 2 checks.
We're for $1,800. And why does it take so long? Why it just doesn't make any sense. Why? And people say, well, it's socialism, and we get the Bernies. Socialism ain't got nothing to do with taking care of people.
Yep.
Take care of your people, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Socialist. You should be taking care of your people.
Absolutely. But again, it goes back to corporate welfare, as they always say, is the thing they do because, of course, they need their lobbyist money. They need the corporate interest money. And please don't think, and y'all, we know this, these big money people are getting these folks in office to pass bills to help benefit them.
Benefit them, whether it's a tax loophole or something simple. Not a direct benefit, but an indirect benefit.
Yep.
That somehow, you don't have to pay as much taxes.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to, spend so much on certain legislation, certain environmental controls, or whatever controls you have. Right?
Yeah. We're oligarchy.
It's going to change. There's still hope.
I hope so.
I have hope. I
hope so. I mean, it's just it's going to be a rocky road for a while.
Yeah.
When Joe Biden gets in office, it's still going to be a little rocky because that group is still hung up on trying to hold on to everything.
Yeah, well, that's why in the House there's a slim majority in the House. I think only by 11 people. But in the Senate, we'll see what happens in Georgia. If in Georgia we can get those 2 seats, that will be helpful.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is not a Democratic or Republican country. Where, as people say, the United States, the dual parties were put in place for checks and balances, more or less, right?
Yeah. And
there's no reason that we shouldn't be working toward the common good of making sure that the country has what it needs, how it needs it, and that we remain. By 2025, they say China is going to be the largest, larger economy than the U.S.
Oh, I believe it. Oh, I wholeheartedly believe it. I think our American exceptionalism and our belief that we're always going to be the number one has caused a great deficit and reduction. Educationally, we're behind on the education spectrum. China owns most of our money, right? If I'm correct, right? So it's not like we're living off the credit card of somebody else, which is the place you just talked about. And they're coming over here buying our property up.
Buying property here, Africa, everywhere.
But some people are like, as long as they get what they want, they're good.
They're good. And it's the whole meism it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope when we're only thinking about ourselves. It's a slippery slope. But we'll see what happens with fortunately some folks are getting some money. We wish it was more. It should be more. But we'll get through it. I'm glad to see jobless claims have fallen, but some of those jobs were more seasonal, so we're working towards that. But we just got to get control of this virus.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, since you brought it up, we're here. The new COVID strain just came out. I mean, just hit the United States. But here's the crazy thing. Now, I don't know if this was a mutation because the people that got the one person in Florida, the one in California, and the 2 people in Colorado that got the new strain did not travel overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So either somebody traveled and they come in contact with the person,
Mm-hmm.
or it just mutated on its own. I don't know how this whole thing works.
They might not have traveled, but it was first documented, right, in the UK,
Right.
back in September.
Yeah.
60% of the new cases in London are the new strain.
Okay.
Our borders are not closed, have not been closed since September
you're right.
to the
Yep.
UK.
Yep, that's
so
true.
they didn't have to travel, but somebody could have traveled over here.
Yeah.
Shanghai just got a new case last week.
Mm-hmm.
A woman that was 23 years old flew over there from the UK. I feel sorry for her because they lock you down over there.
Oh, yeah.
She's on some serious lockdown. I mean, like locked in a room.
Oh, wow.
Locked down.
Yeah.
And like you said, that first case was a Colorado man in Colorado. Then we got the other subsequent case in California and Florida. So the new strain, the thing about the new strain, though, is that they say it's more contagious, but it's not more lethal, so to speak. It still reacts. It's still the new vaccines will still keep you from getting it.
Okay.
You get the vaccines, but therein lies the big issue with this new, because there's going to be new strains. We talked about this before, just like with the flu.
Yeah.
But therein lies the issue. So, Project Warp Speed is more like Project Tortoise. This is like a Project Snail.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
20 million doses supposed to be done by the end of the year.
Okay.
They shipped 12 million. Only 2.8 have been administered, which means we're administering at a 14% of what we said we are going to do is what we've done.
Wow. Okay.
And at this rate, 10 years before everybody can be.
Are you serious?
At this rate, it would take 10 years before 80% of the population would be vaccinated. So I hope Uncle Joe can get this thing at least from warp speed to warp cat dog or something.
What's making it move so slow?
They say it's just a disorder. They talk so much about Project Warp Speed, how it was so organized. We saw the military officials on TV, but they just said it's been, the distribution has been not as dynamic as it should be, right?
Okay.
The distribution has not as been dynamic as it should be. Thank you.
Thank you.
So unlike other countries, where itself, you have a country that they have a national distribution.
Yeah.
Where here, once it gets to the states, they do what they want to do, and then you start to worry about as my daughter and I were talking about the other day. Okay, so now how about the folks that are supposed to be getting it not getting it?
Yeah.
And the folks that have the dollar
Are getting it. Yep.
to getting it. Because they have a workaround.
Always
No
comes-
different than what you're talking about with Congress.
Yeah.
There's a workaround.
Yeah. Always comes back down to money.
Comes back down to money, but
Wow.
6.3 million were affected in December.
Yeah.
So if 2.8 million got the vaccine and 6.3 million was infected, the infection rate is 2 times the vaccination
Yeah,
rate.
That's true. Yep. Yeah.
And that math doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
That math doesn't work.
Wow. And then what they said, December was the highest death rate with 77,000.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's crazy. All right, let me we got Keith from Longside.
Gee.
Keith, how you doing, man?
How are you?
Good. What's happening?
I just want to comment on what you're talking about today.
Sure.
Well, I mean, the thing I've seen is that I've been following. I've heard about this virus so much. It's beginning to be a strain and stuff like that. And there's so much going on in Congress that I've been wondering if they're going to do this $600 stimulus package, and plus, with the 2,000. I have to say that Congress is playing with our minds. The one thing I have noticed, the one thing I say is that they need to get their heads on straight so we can restart this economy in a good way for 2021. And believe it or not, it can be driving not just you, not just me, but everyone in the whirlwind, because it's the Congress that states that, okay, we got this passed, we got this, but there's always the one person that always knocks it off. And that is really what's going on. And I've been following it because we all are wondering when and where this is going to end. But as I think about it, it's never going to end because they need to pass this package so we can get on with the new year. and they need to stop playing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, no, I mean, I think people like Mitch McConnell and those people who are, stopping this thing, which is directly affecting their constituents. They keep saying the American people, but I wonder when they say the American people, which American people they talking about, themselves, a certain group? Because it sounds like to me they're talking about a certain group. Because again, they're willing to pass a bill that directly affects those who don't need a stimulus, and then leave those hanging who actually need a stimulus. So that's why I think these Georgia election is so important, because obviously Mitch McConnell has too much power to just keep shutting things down in the Senate.
Well, you know what? I could blame Mitch McConnell for even blocking the vote. They did it 3 times this past week, which I've heard, and now he needs to get his head on straight so he can really say, okay, I give in, let's get this done. But he hasn't done that yet, and it's taken him a while, and the deadline for this is upcoming.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying to that, they need to hurry. They need not to hurry, but they need to do something, because this economy, as I've told people that I know, is struggling.
Yeah.
And I have really sided with the people who say, okay, we need to get this going. But the people in Washington, they need to stop playing with us.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, I mean, I think that there needs to be a better push to help the people out,
Right.
and having a real Americans first thought process, which is helping those people who are in need, and also here's the other thing, having an efficient process too, where they're not sending money to dead people, and
I saw that. I heard about that.
and sending money to people that don't need it and that kind of thing. I think they just kind of rushed it, sent it out. Like, for instance, the jobless claims last year, when they gave people too much money, and then they sent them letters to get it back, and them folks spent the money already.
Spent it gone.
Money's gone.
Money gone.
Money's gone. And then now they're trying to, here's the crazy part, now they're trying to get legal stuff to lock these people up until they get their money back.
Right.
So I think there needs to be an efficient process. There needs to be a decision made where something's done in the best interest of corporate companies, because we still need the business, but also the individuals too.
Yeah.
I really think if you really want to stimulate the economy, could you imagine if they gave every American, like, I'm just using speculation here, $20,000, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how much the economy would be stimulated? I mean, literally think about it. How much money would be spent in stores, on, all those things, like the bailout back in 2008. If they paid off everybody's mortgages, could you imagine how much?
Yeah, that's too much money, though.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that.
It's too much. 20. But I hear what you're saying, Pastor Nick. It doesn't need to be 20.
I'm just using that.
But it certainly could be 2.
Just
it
an example.
It could be 5. It could be something that would allow folks to have ability to take a breath.
Yeah.
And reassess what they are, because this economy is changing. That whole service industry is going to have to change.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs in that service industry. The restaurant industry is going to change.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to get back to the get back.
Oh, yeah, no.
The way we were.
Yeah.
It's not going to. This ain't a Barbra Streisand the way we were.
No.
It's not getting back like that.
No.
It's going to get back to something, but it's not that. So, folks,
agree with you,
certain
Deacon
folks are going to have to understand. Okay, I need to do something different.
Yep. But that comes with job training and all that stuff.
right.
To train people for new fields.
And so some of that money could be, I'm not going to give you the money, but I'm going to give you the access to the training.
There you go.
Which costs money.
Yeah. And that's fine too.
It's the same thing as giving the folks the money.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, and minus my last comment, I mean, the one thing that I really say to both of y'all is, of course, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you too, Keith.
And the one thing is that, this new year needs to say that there's got to be a sign, and it's got to be positive. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm praying for those folks in Washington that are going against each other or maybe teaming up or whatever. And I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's a mess down there.
Yeah.
And with Trump in his final days of his presidency and stuff, and I'm saying to this, 2021 needs to start off in a positive manner where we can really get our lives together And I'm praying that, as this year is fourth, even though we're in the second day of it, things will get better and brighter for everyone, not just here in Jersey, everywhere.
I hope so, too.
The whole nation.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
John?
We're praying for that. We're believing that. I mean, that's what we're leading into for this new year. The whole restoration, renewal, reversal, and revival. Right? Yeah. I mean, we believe God's going to do it. He stopped everything this year, didn't he? With this virus. He didn't bring the virus, but he allowed the virus. So we believe that He's in complete control, and it's going to get better.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's going to be no struggles, like Pastor Nick said. Doesn't mean there's not going to be any struggle, but it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm praying that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do something, because they really need to draw up a game plan for what's happening. And I say it this way: it has to be a good positive one, because we're going to be needing it.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, Keith, thanks for calling, man. Have a great day.
No problem.
Happy New
Year. Take care. Bye. So I was reading something. We have another caller coming on. I was reading something earlier today. Somebody went to Taiwan. I guess a reporter went to Taiwan to see how they would do. I think it was Taiwan, to see how they do things. And when she flew in, she said she had to quarantine 14 days. Of course, they make you quarantine. I think out of 34 million people, only 7 people have died. The percentage of the people that were positive for the virus were so low, and I'm looking at just the percentages of this. And the countries that are taking this seriously are starting to reopen to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all the way there.
But they're there.
But it's better than where we are.
It's a lot better. You look at fakes like New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand, they was loving it. They was on the streets on New Year's.
Yeah.
No mask. Look at Wuhan. Wuhan was out. They was in China. And that's where this thing started. They had this thing. You got to lock down. The thing about our country, well, certainly we're not a communist country, but New Zealand's not a communist country. We should be able to lock down the country and have it such that there's always a balance of power, right? So the president is in charge, but then he should be able to go to the governor and say, look, you're locking it down.
Yeah.
You know? And the governor should be able to go to the mayor and say, look, you're locking it down.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. But he's so concerned about his supporters.
And freedom of dying.
Yeah, and then telling people, don't like Michigan, don't let them shut down. You guys go up there and it led to some people wanting to kidnap the governor.
Yeah, they had that was not good.
But again, our thing is like this: your First Amendment rights, your freedom of speech, your liberty here in America is not something that's supposed to hurt other people.
That's right. Yeah.
You're basically saying liberate us, free us, so we can go cause the death of other people.
Yeah, which makes absolutely no sense. There are laws in place that you're not able to do other things because of how it may hurt somebody. Yeah. So why wouldn't it be the same with this? It's like you said a couple of weeks ago about wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Wearing a seatbelt saves lives. Wearing a mask saves lives.
Just do it. Why you think we do it around here sometimes? It's a
law. It's a law to wear a seatbelt. It could be a law to wear a mask.
Yeah,
and they can rescind the law after the thing is gone.
Yeah. That's my thing. People don't get hunkered down for this time.
Right.
Because if you hunker down during this time, you'll have more time to do what you want to do later.
That's right.
It's like money. Hunker down for a while.
That's right.
Get your money together. Then you can enjoy your life.
Exactly.
Later.
That's right.
But that momentary satisfaction always takes precedent over the long-term gain. So we got Danny. We're about to go to Danny. Just want to talk about this employee that destroyed the vaccine doses.
Oh, Lord. This person, go ahead, Pastor.
Did they ever come up with a motive? I don't think they
had no motive, but the person is charged in Milwaukee. The person is charged with destroying the Moderna vaccine. First, this person's been charged. The name hasn't been given yet, with first-degree reckless endangering safety, adulteration of a prescription drug, and criminal damage to property. 550 vials or vaccines had to be destroyed. But I did the math. They said the value is 8 to 11,000 K, which means the vaccine only costs like $20. But anyway, they said the value was about $11,000.
I read right over it and didn't pay attention to it.
For 550 doses, I said, okay, well that math comes out to $20.
And I'm sure they're paying a whole lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But they don't. They said that the vaccine was left out on Christmas Eve. Another person, it's supposed to be refrigerated. Yeah. It's supposed to be stored at -4, then refrigerated, and then at normal refrigeration it can last I forget how many, 30 days, and it was left outside the refrigerator overnight. In the morning, the next morning, somebody came in and saw it was out and called the authorities, and that's how they backtracked everything.
Okay.
But that's
I don't get people, man. Just let's just say I won't speculate.
Won't speculate
because we don't know his motive.
Yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe they didn't mean to leave it out and something happened and they had to leave real quick. But it feels kind of funny.
But for them, he got arrested, right?
Yeah, he's arrested and charged.
For him to be arrested and charged, he probably did it on purpose.
He did. He's arrested and charged.
Right. What's up, Danny? Fort Lauderdale. How you doing, man?
Yes. Good morning, Pastor Nick. How you doing?
Good. What's shaking?
All right. Nothing much. Best to you at the new year. All to the church as well, and so glad that you all are keeping us informed as to what's going on, because we're in a different world here in South Florida, as I say all the time. And I just want to add to some things that you all have already discussed. Logistics is everything, and if you don't distribute things right and do it the way that it's supposed to be done, nothing is going to happen. It's not going to work. And the thing is that we're under this idea that all we need is a vaccine, but we need a healing from God.
Yeah.
And we always talk about 2 Chronicles 7:14. That is a true word. And God is talking to us because that strain didn't just happen. God is talking to us because man believes that, okay, I got this strain, you get this vaccination, and then it's going to be eliminated. He said, no, you go ahead and do it my way. And that's where we are. We have this particular situation. Now, in Florida, of all people, when the governors met in Washington 2 months ago, when they said, well, how are you going to distribute it and what have you, the only thing that the federal government was doing was giving it to the states, and they would go ahead and distribute it. That was a mistake right there.
Yeah.
Everything should have been on lockdown from the beginning, and then a procedure of distribution and should have been set right then and there. Who did they ask to tell the governors how to do it? DeSantis,
okay.
Of all people. Okay. So what we have here in Florida, you have different hospitals that are doing different things in different counties. There's no basic procedure of doing it. Some hospitals get it, some don't. Some get more than others, and some don't. And the areas that are economically sound and what have you, those are the ones that are getting more than the others.
Yeah.
And then it falls into the wrong hands, and then you have an open market of illegal people that are distributing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And charging people for that.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, Danny. I mean, like you just said, they said that the frontline hospital workers and nursing homes would get it first. Well, there should have been a database of all those workers, where they are, how to get to them, and that, that's where it's going first.
Yep.
Under security, it's going there first.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the second place, you're gonna, like they say here in Jersey, Morristown Mall is going to be a place where they vaccinate people.
Okay.
Well, you have to have certain ID to come in there to get vaccinated if you're not one of those initial ones. It's not really rocket science. It is a lot of people, but as you're saying, Danny, the logistics is everything. If you don't have the logistics, you can have the product and no logistics, it's not going to get to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They could have called Amazon in and say, Amazon, show us how to do this.
Right. Jeff Bezos will figure out how to get it done.
And let us remember and never forget that when it comes to helping the American people, there's never too much money. Pastor Nick said something many, many years ago, and it always struck me, and I saw wisdom as to what he was saying when we went through that bailout with the mortgages and what have you. They gave the money to the banks, and the banks still repossess citizens' homes. Okay, all of that money. What would have happened if they would have just given it to those who were behind on their mortgage and say, what you do, you make the payment. They would still have their homes, and they would have been caught up.
But they didn't want to do that, because I think he worked the numbers out, and you took that bailout money, I think it was like over $750 billion, I think.
Yes.
And distributed that to all the adults in America. They would have had enough money to pay their mortgage off.
That's right.
Put some in the bank. They would have went shopping.
Yeah.
The economy would have
stimulate.
We would have been out of that recession a whole lot faster.
That'd been real stimulation.
Oh, I mean, it'd have been a quick jump. It would have kind of leveled out after a while. But
exactly.
But again, it goes back to and then what they found was, of course, most of that money from the bailout went to CEO and executive pay. But again, that goes back to that corporate greed thing where, they got bails out of billions of dollars, gave millions to executives, and then start working their way down to do stuff for other people, which they barely did. And some banks that I know, they made it hard for people to refinance their loan, even though they got the money to do it. Like you said, still took their home. They made them go through some crazy process to refinance, and had
At a higher interest
at a
rate.
higher interest rate, and then had the smallest little caveats.
Yeah.
That if you missed this one caveat, you lost your house.
Or the interest rate goes from 5% to 15%.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And who's paying that?
Right. Exactly.
But again, it goes.
One more thing, Pastor
Good.
Nick. I just want to bring about a question. When Obama was president, if he took one day just to rest,
Oh man.
they were all over him.
Oh yeah.
Okay, where's Donald Trump right now?
Probably golfing somewhere.
Okay, they had a big party, New Year's party, okay, and they charged thousands of dollars just to attend, and it was packed. No social distancing, live band, no mask, what have you.
Yep.
What type of leadership is that? If you had any heart, knowing that 3,000 people a day are dying,
Yep.
and you're partying,
And I don't think he even showed up. They said
he didn't attend. He left before, but he still had the party.
he still had the party.
But he left.
They said Giuliani and all them was there, and it just it grinds my gears. I just can't wait for January 20th to come. And it doesn't mean everything's going to be over, but I kind of want to go back to the boring politics. I prefer that. All right, Danny, thank you, man. I appreciate you for calling.
all right, no, we appreciate you, and I thank you, Bishop, and everyone, and God bless you all. God bless Bethany.
Bless you, man. Take care.
All right.
All right. Bye. So we're getting ready to come on a break real quick. We're going to, after we come back, we're going to talk about the Nashville explosion. We'll get around to talking about this doctor at Walter Reed that got fired, and then some more election stuff because a couple Republicans are throwing a fit.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to, not certify the election on January 6th. That's what day is that?
That's Tuesday.
That's on Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
On Wednesday. So we're about to come up on the break. They should be ready by now. And after this, we'll come back and talk to you guys about a few more things. And we will be right back.
It's the catalyst for change you've been waiting on. New Mind, New Me, from Bishop David G. Evans.
I want to be loved. Why do I take the person that loves me and kick them to the curb? I want to be wealthy, but I spend all my money. You were created and given a slave, a doulos, a servant called your mind. Your mind is out of order when it questions your command.
If you are ready for true transformation, Bishop David G. Evans would like to bless you with the New Mind, New Me 4-message DVD set. Order today, and you will also receive Bishop Evans' national best-selling book, Healed Without Scars, as well as the Healed Without Scars music CD.
My mind's going where I tell it to go. It'll never go back. It's my mind. It's going to do what I say.
All yours when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today. Be prepared to watch a new you emerge.
Well, we're back. Welcome back to On Point. Happy New Year, everybody, again. We got about 20 minutes left in the show. Give us a call at 866-743-8267. Again, 866-743-8267. Of course, if you missed New Year's service, you can go back and watch it. We replayed the Ricky Diller concert from last year. Watching that, I was like, man, wow, we really haven't had church in like almost a year.
Yeah, isn't it like crazy?
In person, literally. Who would have thought?
We're still here, though.
Yeah, we're still here, thank God.
Because there's a lot that aren't.
Right, yeah. A lot didn't make it, but, we're here. So, and we're praying for those who've lost loved ones to COVID and just other things. It's been a very tenuous year last year, if I could say it like that.
Yeah, it's been tough on a lot of folks, and everybody needs to know that this pandemic has impacted everyone. There's not one of us that hasn't been impacted in some way, whether it's losing a loved one, job, or just home, or mental illness is big. Addiction is big. I mean, this pandemic has touched everyone some way.
Yep.
And we're just believing that God's gonna make this thing better, because it's not, nobody's left up.
Yeah.
What the Bible said, the rain falls on the just and the unjust.
Yep.
Ain't nobody been left out on this.
Yep. Yeah, it's literally touching everybody. And God is faithful through everything, and He's with those who are struggling. He's with those that are rejoicing.
Amen. God
is in and with everything. So, it's been a tough time. A lot of people, as soon as you cough, you like, and as soon as something happens, you start getting nervous.
You can't sneeze.
Yeah.
Clear your throat, and somebody think you got the virus.
Because there are people that I know, there are folks I know that they knew how they caught it. Some folk, they didn't know how they caught it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one person online that I'm friends with on social media was saying how, he was in the house for 2 weeks, went to the grocery store, believe he must have touched something there and caught the virus. He thinks he caught it from a contact from, just going to the grocery store.
Right.
Not around nobody, had a mask on, just.
And then there's those people that know they had something.
Yep.
Have had the effects, whether it's no taste, no smell, lost a lot of weight, and they've gotten tested, all negative. Yep. Antibody, all negative. But they know something happened.
Something, yeah.
They know, I was sick. I had something. It must have been the virus. So it's really, really, really a big deal for all of us. And like I said, nobody. I still contend though, and I'm not being, funny here, that while things could be better, they could still be a whole lot worse.
Oh, it could be. Depends on your outlook.
Yeah.
Depends on your outlook.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
So
I'm not saying it hasn't been bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it hasn't been challenging.
Yeah.
But there's some things all things we have to give thanks for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everything.
Yeah. It's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
It really is a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
It's how you choose to see your struggles,
right,
and what you choose to do in your struggles.
Right.
And I think that's why James says, in everything give thanks. He doesn't say because of everything. He just says in it, because he understands that if he said because of everything, you won't do it during a hard time.
That's right.
Because hard times don't make you want to rejoice.
That's right. So
we got to do it in it.
In everything. We saw Job. Job went through the thing.
Yeah.
But he was restored. Mm-hmm. He saw a reversal.
Yep.
And he saw revival. He saw all three.
Yep.
It's right there in the book.
Yep. After going through that situation, So our prayer is that we come out on the other side stronger, better.
Amen.
And like you said, it's going to be different, because even with the vaccine, I think you said last week, we don't know how long it's going to last for.
That's right. Maybe 2 years. Maybe it's not going to be like the polio or the smallpox.
Yeah.
From what we know right now.
Right.
Where you get vaccinated, you don't never have to get it again.
We might be wearing masks. I mean, even if everybody eventually is vaccinated, we may still have to wear a mask like China. For a while, it's funny, Pastor Nick. Even before the virus, I'd been to China, and they wear masks before there was even any COVID. Yeah.
They just wear masks. It's just the way they come. A lot of it because of pollution and whatever, but still wearing masks. And you know how we are. We're going to be different. Lisa and I love to go to the movies and the restaurants.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't going to no movies. I ain't going to no restaurant.
Nope.
They're not doing it.
Look, I was telling somebody, like, well, you don't go out to eat? I'm like, nah.
No.
Look, in the summertime, I ordered some food, went and picked it up or had it delivered, and I went in my backyard, and I ate it outside.
And wiped it all down.
There you go. Right, wiped it all down, and I went out to eat. I went in my backyard. That was me going out to eat.
That's going out to eat. And that's the way to do it.
And
so
it was cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a minute, but we're going to get through it.
Yep.
We are going to get through it.
We're going to get through this thing. So on, I think it was Christmas Eve, they had a big explosion in Nashville.
Yeah.
An individual drove an RV loaded with explosives, was playing this song. I can't remember the name of the song now.
I forget the name also.
The police were alerted. They started evacuating people. The RV blew up, killed the man. There's still a lot of, building destruction. I don't think there's no loss of life after that.
No.
It's a couple of emergency people lost their hearing and some other effects. Of course, we're praying for them, because that's still a big thing. But what's interesting, of course, his girlfriend alerted police.
Say it. She called him.
Take it seriously, right? The other thing is, if this man was a Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
could you imagine the outcry?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you always notice when you see things like this, it's always looked at, if it's a white male, he's a lone wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Something must have been wrong with him.
Something must have been wrong.
Why would he do something? Must have happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was a person of color or something like that, it would not be,
Yeah.
what happened to his
Right.
upbringing.
Right.
He must have lost it. It wouldn't be this is a lone wolf thing.
Yeah.
It would have been, this is how y'all are as people.
That's how it happened.
Y'all nature.
And it would still be in the press. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's
Oh,
kind of
come
been, pushed to the side. But like you said, if it was a religious act or a person of color, that thing would be still in the press, and it's not. And we really don't still understand the intent. We know that, like you said, his girlfriend called. The police said they went there, but they didn't see nothing. But they must not have been looking too hard, because she said it more than one time. But what about his mindset that he told them to evacuate? He wasn't trying to kill no people.
Yeah.
So you wonder what was his
What was
intent?
going on with him?
Why
Yeah.
did he need to do it there? Why didn't he do it at his home? What was he really trying
To do.
Which is the question that I've had.
Yeah, and we'll probably never know unless he wrote a manifesto that we'll hear about later. But that's the hard thing. He died with it, so we.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speculating too, so because something was going on in his head.
Something was going on with him, but also something was going on in him such that he didn't do it on a morning when businesses were flourishing and a lot of people out and there was a lot of population. He did it at a quiet time.
Yeah.
So he wanted the attention, but he didn't want to. Evidently, he didn't want to kill nobody.
Yeah. Which is
the dynamic is really.
It is weird.
It's difficult for me to
weird.
understand. I'm not a psychologist.
No, neither am I. So
It's just weird.
It is weird, and people were calling him a suicide bomber.
Yeah. Well, he did.
Literally,
he died.
yeah. Whether the intent was to hurt people, but he also destroyed a lot of buildings and stuff like that. That still hasn't, like you said, if he wanted to kill himself, why didn't he do it somewhere?
In the woods.
Where it wouldn't affect nothing.
Yeah.
But he affected property,
Yeah.
and some officers had some effects from it.
Right.
But the president hasn't said anything.
No. Well, he ain't saying nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
Except the still tweeting about the election and the vetoing of his the overruling of his veto, and he's only things he's talking about is the things that have impacted him.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. Because if this person that did this was a brown skinned person,
No.
he would have leveraged this thing as the reason why he still needs to be president.
Or an Islamic person.
But either way, but his supporters still wouldn't care because they don't work on
They don't work on fact.
Yeah. He could have used that and said, see, that's why I still need to be president. But bro, this happened on your watch.
On your watch. It's all on your watch.
So, we're praying for those in Nashville and hoping that the recovery can happen, and we do come together.
And like they say, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not ratting. If you see something,
Say something.
say something.
Yeah.
You never know who you might be saving.
Absolutely. And I think they're going to do some research on why the police didn't find explosives and why they didn't take it that seriously. So we'll see what happens from it. I'm sure it'll get covered up.
Yeah.
Like it usually does. So, they just think earlier this year in Atlanta, a gas station owner made a derogatory comment against African Americans, and this gas station is in the African American neighborhood. So the people, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The people rallied together to boycott going to that gas station. They walked around it with signs, but they boycotted with their money. They just didn't hold up signs. They took their money somewhere else. And then now the owner has to sell his business, and one of the people that's a part of the rally is looking to buy the business.
Oh, yeah.
But again, to me, and look how long it took. This happened back in the summertime, I believe.
Right. But they consecutive 66 days.
66 days, yep.
Consecutive.
And that the
Protest plus, like you said, no business.
No business.
No business.
I'm all for y'all marching the streets, holding signs up, but until you affect money, stuff's not going to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, I don't think, if somebody's going to be in a community that's primarily African American, they need to be supportive of the community.
Yeah.
And if they're not, take your dollar somewhere else.
Yeah, his attendant was filmed saying, one of his attendants was filmed saying that they didn't give a blank about the black community. And then he was also alleged, we don't have it on film, about saying, like you just said, some derogatory remarks, which I have here, but I'm not going to say what he said.
You can't say it on.
I ain't saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't say that. So that's the thing that I think we all need to remember. You have to affect dollars.
It works.
And have the patience
Yep.
to affect dollars.
Look at the bus boycott.
Yeah, that took over a year.
Yeah.
This generation doesn't seem to have much patience with that.
No.
You know, we do stuff like let's boycott Black Friday for one day. What is that going to do?
They won't do nothing. Because they still want mine. I still want to be able to do what I want to do. I'm not worried. I don't want to be suffering. You know, but you're not suffering. You're doing something for the greater good.
Absolutely.
It's not the instantaneous. It's the long term. You do this thing for the long term, well then, affect change. And this is a great example of infecting change.
Absolutely.
In a non-violent way, they affected change.
Yep.
To the benefit of somebody else that's going to buy that business and flourish in that community.
Absolutely. So now they're going to have somebody. Well, if it goes through, somebody from the community that owns it. Now they can support that.
That's right.
Talk with your dollars.
Money talks.
And that's the only way we can do it. And like this year, we saw more black banks pop up. And if this is one of your communities, support the bank.
There's nothing wrong putting your money in a black bank.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. They got the same FDIC insurance, $250,000 or less. If something happens to the bank, you're not going to lose your money.
Yeah, right.
Now you got $260,000 in there.
Right.
$10,000 going to go away if something happens to the bank. So
better have a couple of money in different banks.
Exactly.
Right. Or have one of them special accounts where the business accounts where allows you to hold more money.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You pay a fee for it, but
as long as it is FDIC insured, you be all right and spread it around. You'll be all right.
Absolutely.
So it's all right to support the bank, y'all.
Absolutely. So doctor that worked at Walter Reed was fired. They say removed, but he was basically fired.
Yeah.
Because he criticized the president for going in the presidential car with the Secret Service when the president had COVID and was driving around a wave of supporters.
Yeah.
He criticized the president for doing that because, again, that vehicle is it shields against bulletproof, chemical warfare, and all that stuff. So the way it's sealed in, all his COVID germs
is in there. And
it can't get out.
Yeah. Can you imagine this doctor, Dr. James Phillips, an emergency room doctor? So he's working in the emergency room. He's seeing COVID cases.
Yep.
He's seeing people die.
Yep.
And he said, this guy has the audacity to get in the car and ride around with the Secret Service folks. And we talked about the Secret Service guy last time that had to get his leg amputated.
Yeah.
And now he's not working there no more.
Absolutely. And that right. And that's the thing. Like, it's not like he was his personal president. Personal doctor that was working with him. At least I don't think he was. So it's not like he told anything that was against policy.
That's right.
The HIPAA laws and all that stuff like that. He just talked about that response to that.
He saw something and he said something.
He saw something and he said something. Really. And I mean, I don't know if Walter Reed, because they are a military hospital and they serve the president, have a certain code of ethics that all the people have to work for as relates to criticizing the government. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good thing to take a look at.
Yeah, they might have one of those. It could be one of those unwritten ethical codes.
Right.
That we're here to be a hospital to serve the military and the president, and just leave it there. But he did go. He's going. Of course, he has his regular job. Of course, still.
Yeah, he'd be all right.
So he's fine.
Yeah, he'd be all right.
But it would be interesting to see. If they have that kind of code of ethics, but they're not saying much else besides.
It doesn't say,
he's being removed.
Yeah, but he had the right to say what he said, and he said it, and it's about the greater welfare of the people.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, he's a doctor. Took the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah. And we all looked at the same thing and said that is like a petri dish.
Yeah. We knew it when we saw it.
Just a wave of the supporters. So we got a few minutes left. So the presidential certification is supposed to happen on the 6th, which is Wednesday.
Yeah.
a couple of the GOP Congress people are talking about they don't want to certify, and it's like 140 of them. Me personally, I think they're going to go down with this sinking ship. Biden gets elected on the 20th, and then they're going to start because they're going to think about themselves, and they're going to start. If Trump becomes more toxic, they're going to start reversing course.
Yeah,
and kind of just.
Well, you can kind of see they're starting to kind of distance themselves away from him now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Pence agreed with the House to dismiss the lawsuit of him having the right to overturn the election.
Yeah.
So I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then they overturned the veto that he just had. So I think you're exactly right. They're going to start distancing themselves because they know he's lamed up.
Yeah. So January 20th can't get here fast enough. I'll be a little more comfortable then. Let's just get it certified on the 6th, get them sworn in on the 20th, and let's just move on and just hope and pray that, and hope and pray that what's the Ossoff and Reverend Warnock
yeah,
win in Georgia, so we can do that. But at the end of the day, our great hope is not in political powers.
It's not.
Our great hope is in Jesus.
Say it.
Our great hope is not in who's in office. And the conflation of American nationalism in the gospel has been detrimental to the church and to the nation. So our hope is in Jesus, and that's the most important thing. We need to maintain our hope, our love, and our trust in his kingdom.
Right.
Because the Bible says it. All the kingdoms of the world are eventually going to fade away.
Fade away.
America's going to fade away. But the kingdom of our God will remain forever.
Amen.
So keep your faith in him. Keep your hope in him. This is our time to continue to work with God, partake with him, and do our thing. So we're getting ready to get out of here. Thank you, Pastor, again. Appreciate you.
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Join us tomorrow.
Stay well.
Yes, sir. Join us tomorrow for service at 8 o'clock. Also, don't forget we have communion at 6 p.m. And on behalf of Bishop David G. Evans, if you didn't get a chance to sow your first fruit on Thursday night, you can do so. Go to our website. Of course, it's an additional tithe for those that can do it, $100, or do the best that you can. Our whole thing is get in where you fit in, because we're believing God that if we give the first, God will bless the rest like he always does.
Amen.
And you can do that by our website, Give the 5, or text to give. All right, y'all. God bless you, and we will see you tomorrow for service for the Encounter Worship Experience.